Maybe you've watched the videos, read the books, learned all you can about narcissistic behavior and how to set boundaries, but you're still left asking, but what if it's my adult child? The truth is, it's not always easy to recognize toxic behavior from someone you love. And that's why in this #1 requested video, I'm going to show you the clear signs it's not you, that they're really toxic, and how you may be unknowingly enabling them, and the dead giveaway that you're being manipulated. Well, hey, my friend, in case we haven't met yet, my name is Kris Reece, and it is my hope to help you navigate difficult relationships and to conquer codependency biblically. So if you're not already subscribed, would you go ahead and hit that button down there? And while you're down there, be sure to grab a copy of our free Narcissist Survival Guide. It's my free gift to you. I'll include it in the link in the description box below. Before we dive into the signs, let's take a moment to understand why so many parents of toxic adult children fall into this confusing trap. There are generally two types of parents when it comes to toxic adult children. Number one is the rescuers. These are the parents who feel responsible for fixing their adult child's behavior, regardless of the child's choices. And this is often driven by love or sometimes guilt over past parenting mistakes. And number two is the deniers. These parents refuse to see any role that they may have played in their child's development, and for them, acknowledging responsibility can feel too painful or difficult. And if you fall into the first category, you're more than likely being manipulated and used by your child, as your desire to help can easily be exploited. On the other hand, if you fall into the second category, your child's behavior may feel like a personal attack on your identity or image, especially when differences or perceived rebellion arise. And this can make it difficult to see the situation clearly. So I want you to keep this in mind as we explore the signs that you need to watch for so you can start seeing the truth for what it really is. Let's dive in. Sign number one, they manipulate your emotions. Toxic adult children have a way of manipulating your emotions like no one else, and they've likely started from a very young age and have perfected their craft over the years. And if you're a parent who cares, you're especially vulnerable to this emotional trap. These children know exactly how to twist things and use your natural desire to love and protect them against you. They know how to pull at your heartstrings with guilt, shame, or sympathy to get what they want. For example, they may say things like, "It's your fault I'm in this mess," and then point to something that you did, maybe even minor, in their childhood as the reason for their dysfunction or discomfort. Or they may say, "I can't believe you're just going to leave me like this. You don't love me," after you've decided to stop rescuing them from their selfish choices. These statements are designed specifically to make you feel responsible for their problems, even though they are fully capable of making their own decisions as adults. And here's the kicker. They're not seeking solutions. They're looking for control. By making you feel guilty, they can manipulate your actions to meet their needs. And it might look like asking for money, constant emotional support, or doing things that they should and could be doing for themselves. The problem is that the more you give in, the more they use you, and the less likely they take responsibility for their own actions. And this dynamic can feel suffocating. It's like walking on a tightrope where every choice you make, whether you give them what they want or not, feels like a test of your love and approval. And the emotional toll it takes can be draining because deep down, all you want is to see them happy, thriving, and successful. But the truth is, no one is easier to manipulate than a parent who desperately craves their child's love and approval. You've invested so much time, energy, and heart into them over the years that when they pull on those heartstrings, it feels almost impossible to say no. And that's what they're counting on. Sign number two. They play the victim. Imagine this. You've spent hours listening to your adult child talk about how the world is against them, how their boss is unfair, how the economy is the reason they're struggling, or how their relationships always fall apart because of other people. You feel sympathy, you want to help, but something just doesn't feel right. Every conversation seems to circle back to how they're the victim in every situation, and you start to wonder, are they ever going to take responsibility for their own choices? Or maybe you don't even hold them accountable for their own choices. And that's what it's like when toxic adult children play the victim. They never own up to their mistakes. Instead, they project blame onto everyone else, family, friends, work, or even external factors like the economy. Nothing is ever their fault. Lost their job? It's the boss's fault. Financial trouble? It's the bad economy. They continually expect you to fix it, make them feel better, and offer solutions. Yet, they refuse to change their behavior. This creates this vicious cycle where you find yourself constantly trying to reassure them, offering emotional support, and trying to fix the situation, even though they're not willing to put in the effort themselves. You're left feeling emotionally drained and stuck in a place where you can't help them grow because their victim mentality keeps them dependent on you. And it happens quickly. It starts as an unfortunate incident, one that probably could happen to anyone. But before you know it, you're taking responsibility for decisions you didn't make and behaviors that aren't yours to fix. And this kind of dynamic creates this never-ending cycle of emotional exhaustion where you're constantly cleaning up their messes or offering comfort or offering support, but never seeing any real change. They don't grow or improve, and they have a problem for every solution because their victim mindset keeps them stuck in a place of helplessness and avoidance. And when you catch on and start to set limits to this behavior, they're going to resort right back to sign number 1, manipulation. Because at its core, playing the victim is a manipulative tactic. It distracts from their own accountability and shifts the focus onto you. You're left feeling like you need to protect or rescue them, even though the real issue is their refusal to take ownership for their life and choices. Sign number 3, they disrespect your boundaries. If playing the victim is like a broken record, constantly replaying the same song of blame and manipulation, then sign number 3 is like a bulldozer, constantly running over your boundaries. Imagine this. You've just set a boundary with your adult child. Maybe it's saying no to a request that would drain you emotionally, financially, or physically. But instead of respecting it, they push back with guilt, emotional pleas, or even, you guessed it, outright manipulation. They make you feel like you're doing something wrong, make you second guess yourself, and you start to wonder, am I being too harsh? Should I be doing more for them? This is the strategy of a toxic adult child, disregarding your boundaries to get what they want. They know exactly how to make you feel like you're the one at fault, even when all you're doing is trying to protect your peace and live your life. Their manipulation is often subtle, but very persistent. In fact, many of these toxic adult children appear genuine, innocent, and even sweet on the surface. But before you know it, they've got you questioning whether your own limits are too strict. Every time you set a boundary, they flip the script and make you out to be this unreasonable one, the one who doesn't love them anymore. And it becomes a constant emotional battle where your needs are being pushed aside and you're left feeling drained and guilty for simply trying to protect yourself, your heart, your time, your energy, your finances. And you think to yourself, okay, if I just give them what they want, they'll be satisfied. But my friend, the more you give in, the more they expect. And that cycle continues. It's exhausting and it leaves you emotionally worn out, questioning your own decisions. And what started out as a simple boundary becomes this uphill battle where they continually disregard your limits, making it harder for you to protect your emotional and mental health, much less living the life that God has purposed for you. Sign number 4, they cause drama and conflict. If disregarding your boundaries is like creating a storm, then sign number 4 is like pouring gasoline on it and watching it burn. So imagine this, your adult child is involved in a minor family disagreement, but instead of helping resolve it, they escalate it into a full-blown argument. They talk to everyone but the person that they need to talk to. They gather others to their side in this never-ending attempt to paint themselves as the victim. They thrive on drama and conflict, constantly stirring the pot and turning everyone against each other. Whether it's through gossip, exaggeration, or playing the hero or the victim, they love to be the center of attention. These toxic adult children often act like they're the rescuer of the family, swooping in to save the weaker family members from everyone else, even though it's their behavior that's causing the chaos in the first place. Or they act like the one needing the rescue from other toxic family members. These are usually the people who were simply trying to set boundaries, and they're not having it. And whether you're the one that they're rallying against, their flying monkey, or you're simply trying to not be in the middle, make no mistake, adult toxic children will manipulate situations and people to fan the flame of conflict. That sweet smile they give you in person quickly turns cold and calculating behind your back. They'll feed others with half-truths and outright lies to maintain their position as the drama king or the drama queen, always making sure they are the one everyone is talking about. And in the end, you're left feeling emotionally drained and wondering if you actually are the problem. And this constant drama is exhausting, and it keeps you stuck in an unhealthy cycle where they continue to play both sides, leaving you feel manipulated and torn. Sign number 5. They have a sense of entitlement. If causing drama and conflict is like throwing fuel on a fire, then sign number 5 is like expecting the fire to burn in your direction, no matter how hard you try to control it. Imagine this. Your adult child expects you to provide for them, emotionally, financially, or in any other way, but they offer nothing in return. They act as though you owe them something, no matter how poorly they treat you. And this sense of entitlement is a dead giveaway of toxic behavior. And you may hear them say or imply things like, you should be doing more things for me, or after everything I've been through, you owe me this. They take your sacrifices for granted and rarely acknowledge the efforts that you've made to support them. Instead, they expect you to give and give and give without ever truly reciprocating. And in some cases, especially after a divorce or if there have been mistakes in parenting, which how many of us haven't, they'll usually use those past events to guilt trip you into feeling like you're obligated to give them what they want. They'll tell you that they deserve special treatment because of what they've been through, manipulating your emotions to get their way. Even if you feel like you owe them something, you soon realize that it will never be enough. No matter how much you give, they'll always want more because at their core, their entitlement is insatiable and no amount of support will ever fill that void. Whether your adult child is constantly criticizing you or using you for personal gain, withholding love, refusing to take responsibility for their life's choices, or completely discarding you and disregarding you as an individual, at the core of all toxic adult children is selfishness. And James 3:16 reminds us, for where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice. Recognizing the signs is just the beginning. If you're not careful, these toxic patterns can start to take root in your life, leaving you feeling trapped and powerless. But here's the hard truth. You may be unknowingly enabling their toxic behavior and making things worse. But the good news, you have the power to stop that cycle. So let's go ahead and dive into the top 5 signs that you may be unintentionally feeding into their toxicity and how to break free. Enabling sign number 1, you're constantly making excuses for their behavior. Do you justify their actions instead of holding them accountable for their behavior? Is their age, their situation, or something else an excuse? If you find yourself saying things like, oh, they're only blank and fill in their age. Oh, they've been through so much, or it's just the way they are, or it's just a phase. When they get a job, find a spouse, fill in the blank. It'll get better. Then your helping isn't helping. It's actually enabling. Sign number 2, you're bailing them out financially or emotionally. Do you repeatedly lend them money, solve their problems, or provide emotional, mental, or physical support, even when they've done nothing to change that behavior or take responsibility? Then your helping likely isn't helping. Enabling sign number 3, avoiding consequences for their actions. Do you step in to fix their problems or prevent them from facing the natural consequences of their own actions? If so, you're likely only encouraging them to continue their toxic behavior because they have no repercussions. Enabling sign number 4, allowing disrespectful or toxic behavior. Do you find yourself tolerating their disrespect, their manipulation, or their emotional abuse? Failing to enforce boundaries or confront their toxic actions only reinforces the cycle and perpetuates evil. Enabling sign number 5, sacrificing your own well-being for them. Do you put their needs and desires ahead of your own, neglecting your own emotional, mental, and physical health in the process just to accommodate their behavior and requests? Well, guess what? Your helping isn't helping. These behaviors enable your adult toxic child to continue their toxic patterns, preventing them from growing and then taking responsibility for their actions. So let's remember Galatians 6:5. For each one will have to bear his own load. They're not children anymore. And if you were to treat them that way, they'd have a problem with you. So they can't have it both ways, demanding respect as an adult while still expecting the care and dependence as a child. The difference between your toxic adult child and other toxic adults is that you're seeing your precious child through the lens of that sweet little boy or sweet little girl that they once were. But those days are gone, and you keep treating a cobra as a kitten, and you're likely going to get bit. And if you ever wonder if there's more behind the behavior than a few poor choices, go ahead and check out this episode next to understand the demonic spirits that are behind narcissism. And don't forget to grab a copy of our free Narcissist Survival Guide. I'll include a link in the description box below.